Hello everyone, my name is Zafer Masalcı. Welcome to my Unreal Engine Blueprint series where you are going to learn Blueprint step by step. And this is part 1. Let's start. Blueprint 101. What will we do in this class? We will do introduction to Blueprint, class, instance, inheritance concepts. I will explain the editor interface, demonstrate how to create Blueprint classes, show how to place nodes in the event graph, and I will explain Blueprint graph execution. By the end of this lesson, you will learn basic Blueprint concepts, and you can create your own Blueprint class in the editor. You can place nodes in the event graph, and you can understand the execution flow of a blueprint. Also, you will learn the differences between level blueprint and blueprint class. First, I will do the introduction to blueprints in the presentation, then we will jump to Unreal Engine and try to experiment with stuff. Let's talk about what is Blueprint. Blueprint is a visual scripting language that allows you to create game logic without writing any code. It is actually a library of C++ language that Unreal Engine using. Now, let's talk about class and instances in a bit. A class serves as a template for something you want to create and can be seen in the content browser. An instance is what you get when you drag the class into the world. Inheritance in programming is when a new child class takes on properties and behaviors from existing parent class. So in Unreal Engine, everything just made up from object class. Then we have actor, pawn, character, and some other classes. As you can see here, object is the base class in Unreal Engine, and the actor class has the ability to be spawned in the level. Then we have pawn. Pawn can be possessed by the controller or AI controller. Character is also another class, can be controllable. Now I want to show you the general blueprint editor interface. To do that, click on the content drawer, and I'm using first person template in 5.6 by the way. So if you are using the same template, you can go to first person and you will find a blueprints folder. Inside, just find the BP first person character. Let's double click to open it up. By the way, probably when you open blueprints in the first place, it will be like this as a floating window. So you can place this one wherever you want, or you can just click on this area, drag it, and dock it on top. So that will allow you to just jump between these windows. Okay, let's look at the slide first, then I will explain them in the editor. We have different areas. First, we have the toolbar here on top. We have components panel, my blueprint panel, details panel. These are the window ribbon, which will just fill with different windows if you open different tabs. And this is your active viewport. Now let's talk about them one by one. First off, the toolbar. So at first, this is your save button, and this one is the browse button. When you click it, it will open the place of your blueprints in your content drawer. Find button allow you to find different codes here. Hide, this is hiding unconnected nodes. Class settings, and the class defaults here is all the default settings of your blueprint class. And this button will actually start the game, standalone mode, so you can just check things without leaving your blueprint window. And this one is the debug button. To use this one, you need to have at least one instance in the level. You are selecting that one, and then it will allow you to debug your code. Component is kind of a outliner in the level. As you know, outliners just have all the things in your level. Components do the same. My blueprint panel, this will have your events, functions, macros, variable, etc. So all the things that related with coding will be sit here, and all the things related with component wise will be here in the components. And if you select something, you will see the details here, or if you just click on class defaults, you will see the details of your blueprint class. And here we have the viewport, construction script, and some other functions. You can close them if you want. Viewport is your window that you can see your blueprint in a 3D way. In the event graph, this is where we will write the code here, actually. And this one is a 2D view. So you can just click on right mouse button and hold it to pan around. Your mouse wheel will zoom in and out. You can click things with left mouse buttons, and you can click on left mouse button and drag. That will create this rectangle, and you can select things here. Okay, now let's open the content drawer and click on the lectures. So we will create a folder and we will actually create our own first blueprint. So I will just right click and click on blueprint class. You can also use this add button here and click on blueprint class. It's same blueprint class and click on actor. Let's click on the actor class, and now naming of the blueprints. So for the naming, we will use BP as a prefix underscore the name of your blueprint. So I will create some sort of a cube. I will name this one as cube. Okay, double click to open this cube. By the way, if you are seeing this little asterisk symbol here, that means it's not saved yet, this asset. So click save all to save it. Okay, now we are in the actor blueprint. If you look at the upper right corner, you will see parent class is actor, and we have less things here. To see it visually, let's add a cube. You can click on the add, and if you click on the cube, that will add a cube primitive object. So let's click on the cube, and now we have the cube object. Now let's talk about nodes, how we place nodes in our blueprints, okay? Placing nodes is quite easy. You can find everything with a one click, which is right mouse button in the event graph. And that will give this really long list. You can use lots of nodes in the blueprint library. So in order to find something, you can click on search. Let's search print string. This little node is quite useful. It will print this text when execution flow reach this one. Here we have these red nodes, we have blue nodes, but essentially red nodes means they are events. They will start blueprint execution flow. To connect nodes, you can simply drag from this pin and connect it to that one. These white triangles called execution pins, and when you have this connection, this will work. If you want, you can break the link by right-clicking, break this link, or you can press Alt and left-click. That will also break the link. So let's click on compile, and everything is working. And if you start, you should see the hello text. It is not here because we didn't put this blueprint into level yet. So yes, we have the blueprint in our content browser, but unless you are putting your blueprints into the level, they will not work. Let's do that by simply dragging and dropping in here. If I start the game, you will see the hello text. Next thing that you can do, click on this arrow, you will see more options. So we can change the duration, for instance, 1 to 5. Now we have 5-second duration. If you want to change the color, you can change the color. And if you want to change this hello text, you can change it. So let's say this is my first blueprint. Let's click on compile and start the game. Here it is. This is my first blueprint, and it stays a bit longer because we set it up for 5 seconds. Okay. Now, let's talk about this context sensitive. Context sensitive allows you to filter your search according to a pin that you are using for your search bar. What does that mean? If I right click in an empty place in the event graph, it says all actions for this blueprint, right? This means these are everything that I can use inside of this blueprint. If I uncheck this context sensitive, the list will be longer. So if I drag out from some of the pins, for instance here, it will say executable actions. So this is everything that you can use with this pin. A side note, by the way, if you drag out and search something here, let's do another print string, it will add this one and connect it automatically. Also, if you want to add something in between, you can drag out from the first pin. Let's do the print string again and connect it. So that will connect it automatically. Okay, now let's talk about nodes, pins, and wires. Flow generally from left to right, but that can change time to time. For instance, a branch node. This is an if statement. It is using a condition. It's called Boolean. Booleans have two answers, true or false, and according to the answer, blueprint execution flow will continue. And sometimes, if you have some inputs in your node, and if you connected something to that input, it will be calculated first. What's happening here? We have an energy bar, let's say, and that energy bar calculated according to our player level. Let's talk about blueprint functionality. And in order to talk about functionality, we will talk about references first. There are different type of references. First one and most easiest one is component reference. It is quite easy. If you want to do something with your components, you are dragging them, getting a reference to the event graph. In this example, we will have an object with a collision box around. Collision box means it's checking where you are entering or exiting from that area. And according to that, it is triggering an event called event actor begin overlap. And when it happens, we will change this box material to something else. First, let's add the box collision. If you search for box, you will find the box collision. First of all, let's scale this a little bit so we can see. So if they are just like this in the list, when I move someone, the other will not move. But if I connect the box and drop it on top of the cube, now we have this parent-child relationship. See? And if I move the cube, box will follow it, box collision. However, if I move the box collision, cube will not follow it. Okay, now what we want to do, in order to write the blueprint, first just think about what you are going to do verbally. Just create a sentence for it. I want to change the material when I approach to this object, right? So to do that, we need to use this event actor begin overlap. This will trigger when an actor overlap with this blueprint. Here, I want to use this cube. I'll drag here. This is our reference. You see, just left click, drag it, and drop it into here. And from this pin, you see, we are using context sensitive search, drag and let it go with your left mouse button, so it will open this menu. And from here, I will search for set material. Set and get words will be important. Set will be used for changing values, setting different things, and get will be used to read that value. Now, you see this blue pin is called reference, and it should be connected to this target because we want to change this cube material, right? Without this one, it will automatically use self and it will give us some error. So let's connect this one first and compile it. You see we are having an error. And if you look at the compiler results, it says this blueprint self is not a primitive component. Therefore, target must have connection. If you click on this one, by the way, it will also navigate you to this node. And if you look at your blueprint in your level, the blueprint will look like this. Blueprint bad. So it's not working right now. So let's connect the target here. And now everything is working. Lastly, let's select a material here. Let me select something more visible. Okay. And that's it. This is how you are using component reference. Component reference is easy, but the real problem is how can I get a reference from another blueprint? I want to change some other blueprint's properties. For example, we will have another blueprint, and when we approach our cube blueprint, we will also change the sphere material as well. In order to control some other type blueprints, we can create them their references as a variable. But that variable will be empty. I will try to explain it like this. So if I choose a cube, you see, and we have this brick symbol, it is a static mesh component. And if I just come here and click on this little arrow, that will set this one to none. So we have a static mesh type component here, but it is empty. Because it's empty, we cannot change this material as well because there is no material. So the same concept goes here as well. When you create some blueprints type as a reference, that will be empty, but we need to fill it. In order to fill it, we have different methods. Let's first create our second blueprint, and I will demonstrate how to do that. Again, we will use actor blueprint, and I will name this one as sphere, BP sphere. Let's open this up, and this time I will add a sphere by clicking this one and then adding collision. This time I will add sphere collision. They are already connected, as you see. And let's scale this up a little bit and compile. We don't need to do anything here. Just know that the mesh name is sphere and this one is sphere 1. If you want to change this one, by the way, you can press F2 and I can say that one is sphere collision. Okay. Now let's come back here and click on this button here. This will add a variable. I will talk about variables in the next lesson, but hang in here. First variable will be always Boolean. This is a default variable. And I will change this one as BP sphere reference. To change the type, we need to come here and search type BP sphere and use it object reference. In order to see the default value of the variable, you need to compile the blueprint. So let's compile it. You see, now it is none. If you come here and you will not use this schematic, so I can delete it, get this one as a reference, it is the same. Drag and drop. And from here, this is a blueprint reference. From here, I want to get a mesh reference. That mesh name is sphere. I want to read the value as a sphere. I don't want to change it. So if I search for get sphere, the bottom you see get sphere. This is our mesh component reference. Now I can connect this one to the target. You don't need to create another set material function for it. And if you click compile, and it will work. Seeing the compile here not always mean that you are doing everything right. If I drag and drop this sphere here into the level, see, I'm changing this material to orange, but this one stays white. What is happening here? And if I press escape, I have this warning messages: access none, not set material graph, event graph, etc. So it's trying to access something, but it is empty. How can I fill this reference inside of this? First of all, making instance editable. You can use instance editable by clicking on this eye icon, or in the detail, you can select instance editable. So let's do it. I can click here. Now, if I compile and select my object and look at the details, now I can see this BP sphere reference. You see it says none. If I come here and close the eye, now is gone. Let's open this up and compile, and then if you just click it, you will see sphere in the list. You can also click this eyedropper and select your asset. It will only allow you to select this asset because it is the correct type. If I have multiple blueprints, by the way, you can use Alt and drag to copy objects. Let me place it somewhere here. And when I interact with one of them, the thing I selected will change the material only, not others, because this is the correct instance, right? And now if I press escape, I will not get any error because I'm reaching this one already. Another method to get a reference is referencing with casting. Casting means trying to reach another blueprint by sort of calling them. The example that I am giving always in this casting is, let's say you borrowed a laptop from your friend, okay? And you want to enter that you want to open this laptop, but the laptop has a password. In order to use the laptop, you need to call your friend and learn the password. And this is actually the cast. And this the method that you are using while calling. So if you know the phone number of your friend, you can dial it up and call your friend. Without that phone number, you cannot call it. So this is get player character. Get player character is a special node referencing to player characters. So as a player, we have a unique player character, right? It can be just one or multiple, doesn't matter, but with the index, we can get the correct player character. So casting with player characters is easy because of this get player character, and that will give you the character reference, and you can do whatever you want with this. Also, another one is actor begin overlap. That will give you this other actor pin. Other actor is name is actually a little bit counterintuitive. This is actually the actor that's overlapping with the collision box. The example can be like you have a house and you have a garden gate, and you can see who is passing through the garden gate, and you can know them, so you can get a reference to them. We will use both of them in this example. So what will we do? We will able to change the materials only if we have the key. To get the key, first we need to interact with the sphere, and then we need to interact with the cube to change the material. So this is reference problem. We have three characters. We have cube, we have sphere, and we have player character. We need to communicate them in order to solve this puzzle. To do this, let's open first person character, and you can just click this button and just name it. Have key variable, you can close the first person character. I want to go to my BP sphere. I want to cast to my first person character using this other actor pin. Cast to first person. And here I can get some values from my first person character. So here what we want to do, we want to set have key, but you cannot find have key by just right clicking on the empty space here. This will not give you the result because this is all actions for this blueprint. However, we are just trying to find a node as we are first person character. So this is that as BP first person character. Okay, and we will check this one to true. In order to understand this is working, if I just come here and get closer to this sphere, it should work. But to understand this one, we can use print string. By the way, I will disconnect this print string. So I will add a print string in my blueprint here. And instead of using this predefined hello text, we can actually use a variable here. You can drag and drop here, and Unreal Engine will automatically change the value from Boolean to string. According to this one, it will write true or false. And now I will come here. You see it says true. If I uncheck it, I am setting it false. So yeah, this is the first step. In order to use this one in our cube blueprint, we need to have this first person character as a reference, and then we will use this reference to read this have key value. According to answer with the branch, we will do something. Let me just move them a little bit here. We need to have a room. So here we will cast to first person character. And then I will use actor here. Then here we will get this time a key value. This will lead us to a branch. If the answer is true, I will change the materials. Okay, let's do it. It should work right now. First, let's come here. You see it is not changing materials. Let's get the key first. And now it's not doing it again. What's the problem? We are using this sphere key as a false. You see? Let's check this one. Now this is again the example of, compile is okay, but your blueprint is not working. So these simple things like forgetting this checkbox or forgetting to connect nodes, okay, now it is working. Final thing that I want to add here is connecting something to false pin. So we can just use a print string here and say that you don't have the key. Okay, if I close, it says you don't have the key, and here I have key like this. And I think that's a wrap up. Finally, I want to talk about this level blueprint concept. Just briefly, to open the level blueprint, you need to click on this button, and this is level blueprint interface, and this is how you are getting the reference. To do that, you can, if you want, get the reference to a blueprint. Doesn't have to be always mesh. You can click here, open level blueprint. Once you are selecting something, right click and create a reference for that. And now you can do something with it. It's big and play. And with this one, get cube and material. So let's add a different material when the game starts with this prototyping grid, for instance. So as you see, it's white. When game starts, now it is the prototyping material. So you can also use the level blueprint for those kind of simple operations, but it's not that useful because you cannot copy this level blueprint to other levels. And if you want to do certain things over and over again, you need to write the code here instead of just using an instance. Therefore, level blueprint is not really useful for general blueprint functionality. There are different ways to use the level blueprint we might discuss later on. Okay, this lecture introduced the basic concepts involved in a blueprint. It explained the difference between level blueprint and blueprint classes and concepts of parent-child inheritance. It shows various parts of the blueprint editor and explained the flow of execution in a blueprint graph. Thank you for listening.